So just starting with those feet, bending the knees, feel the feet, feel the legs. And inhale, coming up with the arms. Exhale, grounding, bending the knees over the second toes, feeling the bottoms of the feet, looking at the feet. Inhale, adding the radiance of the sun, if you have it where you are today, like we do here. Exhale, that waterfall down from the top of the head down, all the way down the front body, the side body, the back body, down the legs, to the feet, feel the bottoms of the feet. Just keep this going in your own timing. Inhale, prana, chi, energy. Exhale, apana, grounding, letting go of mind, body, toxins. Adding the breath if you can. Conscious lengthening of the breath, adding a ha sound, exhale. Can keep that going or adding a humming sound in your own timing. Bringing the hands to the heart. You can have the hands in namaste. If you prefer, you can cross the palms, the arms, palms on either shoulder if you prefer. And as you inhale, bringing the arms to the side, visualizing that sun shining out of your heart, the radiant heart. And exhale, hands to the center, gathering up that light, perhaps bending the knees, bowing the head to the heart, just reminding yourself of your center here. Inhale, feel that radiance as you open up that space to the world. And exhale, gather it up to its source, deep within you. I'm going to add an om on exhale. You can join if you like, or just listen, or do the ha or the om, or just regular exhale. The om, really try to draw the belly in. That will deepen the sound and lengthen the exhale. Today we're moving into the third chakra. It's the belly button. Dantian for the Taoists, Nabi for the yogis, and it's the center of your human existence, the umbilical cord, where you started connecting with material life in the womb. And the yogis say that there's 72,000 nadis or rivers of energy flowing throughout the entire body, starting right here. And it's called the Maniparaka, the seat of many jewels, all the organs. So we're going into that area in the next 2 weeks. Inhale, coming up on your toes, if that's comfortable, feel that radiant sun. And exhale, we're going to come down the front with the arms straight. So we're just going to do this a little bit differently today. And then inhale, arms straight coming up front. It's going to be a little harder to balance. You have to use that core strength a lot as you come up. And exhale down the sides. Just challenge your brain a little bit. It's good to change it up. We get into habits. Inhale, and we want to break that automatic process we go into. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, down the front. Just feel how you really have to use the core as you bring your hands down the front. I don't know if you can feel that. Inhale, breathing into the chest, then into the belly if you can as you come up. Keeping the pelvic floor somewhat contracted. And then exhale, coming down the sides. Now again, if you have shoulder injuries, you might want to just move your arm sides if it feels more comfortable. Okay, so moving the arm side is more upper back, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, arms up. Moving your palms when it feels good for your shoulders. Just a reminder on that. Exhale down the front. And constricting the throat, breathing through the nose if you can. Inhale up the front. Maybe tucking the chin in at the top. And exhale down the sides. Let's just do it one more time. You can do it in your own time. You do not have to do it with me, though it is beautiful to see. Just coordinate it with your own breath pattern. If you forget which is inhale, which is exhale, don't worry, just keep breathing. Inhale is up, exhale is down. Inhale is expanding, exhale is contracting. All right, we're going to come up, inhale, coming up. Interlock those fingers, and we're going to stay here for a few breaths if you can. And as you exhale, we're going to just add this for the whole spine. As exhale, bring your heels down and stretch your palms to the sky. Now you could do this with your arms folded instead. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down, and stretch your palms up, draw your belly in, stretch the whole spine. You can focus on your upper or lower back. Some of you have upper back issues, so you can focus there. I'm going to try to put my attention on lengthening the lower back. So bring my hips down. Can I create some space there? Draw the belly in as much as you can towards the spine. This is some traction. And last one, exhale, arms down. So again, modification for that, folding at the elbows. Okay, we're going to move into side bends. Inhale, arms coming up sides. Come up onto the toes or not, your choice. Exhale, coming towards your left. And again, sticking that hip out so it goes a bit more into the lower back and hips. focus your mind in this area. Getting into that QL area. Quadratus lumborum. It's a big lower back stabilizer. Inhale. And it can get very tight. Especially when other muscles that are meant to hold us up are not engaging. So especially the core, right through the pelvic floor, up the spine, that's our core holding us in alignment. And as we worked on the last couple of weeks, the hips, the stabilizing effect of the hips. So we don't want to let that go either. Your arms can be like this. You can always bring one arm down. You can always fold the arms, hold opposite elbows to work more with the shoulders. After our next one, we're going to stay on one side. So now I'm going to stay. I'm going to cross the foot over. You can do this at the wall as we've done the last number of weeks. And again, if you do want to target the lower back, that is a great way to do it. I might cross the opposite foot over. And this also really gets actually into those intercostal muscles between the ribs. That's another big breathing apparatus that people don't talk about much. Yoga teachers do. We have the diaphragm, of course. It contracts and releases as we breathe. We also have these muscles between our ribs. To think if they were muscles, yes, they are. And then we're going to switch sides. So you can do it in the center of the room. I'm going to use the wall today. I'm using opposite foot to the direction I'm on. And I'm targeting the hip. I'm sticking my hip out so I get into that QL area. Inhale, coming out, and I invite you, so I take my sweater off. I can't believe it, first time this term, I'm hot. It's like nice to feel some heat. Go to your side that feels tighter and do that again. Okay, so just go to one of your sides that feels a bit tighter today. And just stay there a little longer. It might be your upper back, it might be your lower back. Spend a little bit more time. If you're not sure, you can do both sides again. For me, it is both sides in a different part of my back. This side's more of my lower back. And this is not my number one pose for avoiding back spasms if you are prone to them. They often happen in this area. All right, and now just standing still in samastiti and notice how you feel. Feeling both feet very evenly. All right, so we're going to do the balance that we've been working on the last number of weeks, but we're going to definitely lean to the side today. So inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, you're going to come to the side, bring one foot out, and then see if you can balance at all. See where you can go. And inhale, center, and exhale, other side. Just that, side to side. Now you could stay a breath if you want it, or just go side to side. I'm just going to go side to side for a bit. Usually at the beginning of my practice, I do a lot of movement, not so much staying, just to coordinate breath and movement to make that link. Yogis believe the breath ties together the mind and body. And physiology agrees with that statement to some extent. The breath can be done non-consciously, automatically. Fortunately, we're breathing while we sleep, we're breathing while we're doing all sorts of things, but it can also become conscious. So it's a physiological system that can be both automatic, autonomic nervous system, and somatic, conscious. So very interesting. There's not much in our body that does those two things. Another one is blinking. Fortunately, we blink automatically, and we can blink when we want to, shut our eyes when we want to. After my next round, I'm just going to say, try staying. Now, when you stay, you could bring your foot on the ground. I'll show that in a moment. So you could have your foot on the ground, just do this, or you could come up, you could have your hand on a chair. Oops, there we go. Now try to draw your belly in as you do this. And inhale coming up. It's interesting, I'm trying to look at the screen as I do this. I'm going to try not doing that this time. It's probably going to be easier for me. Yes, definitely easier. So don't look at the screen as you balance. And inhale, center. And exhale, hands down, Samasthiti, even standing. Sometimes called mountain pose. Today we're definitely moving like trees swaying side to side. We're going to do a one-sided forward bend. This is called Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend. So inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, you can bring the arms straight in front. This will use the lower back strength more. If this bothers your shoulders or your back, if it's too much, bring your arms side. If that's still too much, slide your hands down your leg. If that's too much, bend the front knee. You can hold a chair or come all the way to the ground or two blocks. Inhale, the arms can come sides or up the leg, or if you're able, move the arms first in line with the ears and come up with a long spine as you inhale. And exhale, starting position, feel your legs and feet. Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend, inhale coming up. Chin in, Jalandhara Bandha, if that's comfortable. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, it's drawing in as you stretch from the mid back to your hands, draw the belly in. You're going to round your lower back slightly as you lengthen the upper back. That's your exhale. As you inhale, you're arching the back. Inhale, move the arms in line with the ears. Again, modify arms side or up the leg. Exhale, starting position. You do this 4 times. This is number 3. Exhale, if you want to add on, you can interlock those fingers and stretch the spine along as you come forward. Inhale, coming up. Again, those fingers could be interlocked. Exhale. Next one, we're going to stay down. Inhale. Again, your arms, your hands can be at a chair or on blocks. I want you to focus your mind, my left leg is forward, on your right lower back. The foot that's back, whatever that is for you, feel that side of your lower back really stretching. You might feel your front leg stretching a lot. Tight hamstrings can also really throw lower backs out of alignment. So we're working with that right now as well. Now, to target the lower back, bring your hands to the little toe side of your foot. Just see if you can feel that QL, that quadratus lumborum stretching. Inhale, you can lift the chest. Exhale for a bend. Your hands could be on a chair or blocks, a bench, table. You'll get more into the lower back if your hands are lower down. I know a couple of you have scoliosis, and I believe for both of you, it's this right side that's more compressed on your lower back, as it is with me. Now, I want you to go to the other side. Just see if that groin, that inner thigh area might be tight on this side. This is more about the hips. Inhale, arching up. Exhale, forward bend. So we're back to the legs and the hips, which are the foundation and also affect the lower back very much. Just feel for any tightness in that inner thigh, that adductor area. When you're ready, come back to the center. Be sure that back foot's turned out a little bit. Just come up very gently. Inhale, halfway up. I'm going to bring my hands on my legs. Maybe bend the front knee. Exhale, stay. Inhale the rest of the way up. And exhale, step back. I'm really feeling that effect on my right lower back right now. Just notice if you're feeling that. If you don't have tightness on that side, you won't feel it. Stepping your right foot forward, your left foot turned out. Same thing on this side, Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend. This allows us to target one leg at a time, one hip at a time. Inhale, arms coming up, or they can go sides. Exhale, forward bend 4 times. You can do this in your own time if you like. All the modifications we talked about. You can always bend that front knee. You can slide the arms up and down the leg. You can bring your hands to a chair, blocks, table. Bring your arms sides. If this is hurting your back, to make it harder, you can interlock those fingers. And this is using a lot of core strength as you hinge forward and back. Doing around 4 times and then staying. Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat if you can. Notice if the hamstrings behind the thigh, one side is tighter than the other. Notice if that matches with any pain or compression on one side of your lower back versus the other. Just noticing those things. And after your fourth one, just staying. You can keep it moving if you prefer. Inhale, arching the spine, exhale, forward bend. Stay there, or moving to your right, hands to the little toe side of your foot, your front foot. Inhale, arch the spine, exhale, forward bend. See if you can feel the stretch in the left lower back, the foot that's back, that side of the lower back, maybe into the upper back, into the ribs. If it's not comfortable, go back to the center if that doesn't feel good in your body. Just skip this variation. And we're targeting this left lower back, the heel that's back, that side of the lower back. Coming back to the center and then to the other side, you might turn the back foot out a bit as you do this. And feel that inner thigh area, the groin, and that hamstring. It's 3 hamstrings, so that one right there, closest to your inner thigh. You might be feeling that quite a bit. And those can get tight when there's some misalignment, or just from, using your body a lot, walking a lot, perhaps skiing. You find one tighter than the other, that's something to pay attention to on one leg versus the other. That might be connected to a knee problem too. One of my students loves this pose for aligning her knee. Coming back to the center, I'm making my back foot parallel for a minute just to go a little deeper. This time we're going to step forward into Uttanasana. Just stay here for a moment. Feet parallel. Again, hands can be at the seat of a chair. And just gradually coming up, slowly bend the knees, hands on the thighs, inhale, exhale, stay. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, Samastiti in your center. And just notice how you feel. Probably feeling your legs quite a bit. Right? I always feel like I'm about an inch taller after doing my forward bends. All right, we're going to do a few more of Uttanasana. Uttanasana, really important pose for stretching the lower back, the lowest part of the lower back. Inhale, we're going to bring our arms side just for some variation. We've been doing a lot of front, radiating like the sun. And exhale, we're going to do that namaste position through the center, that letting go. Namo Namaha. Coming forward, I let go, I surrender to what is. Inhale, coming up. Yoga philosophy says, actually, we don't just surrender to what is. So I find that heartening. We think about what we want to do. First, we contemplate Svādhyāya. We contemplate what we think is right action. And then we do that with our best effort. It's called Tapas. It's the definition of Kriya Yoga, Yoga of Action, Chapter 2.1 in the Yoga Sūtra-s. And then we Īśvara praṇidhān, we let go of the results of the actions. This major teaching from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3 on karma yoga, the yoga of action, letting go of the fruits of our actions. So just do your best to act with virtue and goodness, having thought about what you're going to do before you do it. And then you let go. Whatever happens, ke sara sara, Īśvara praṇidhān. That's my usual definition, translation of Īśvara praṇidhān. Surrendering to what is. Just then you let go, you sink into it. And with that, the Gita says we find equanimity. The Sutra says the kleshas, the obscurations of the mind, decrease. The clouds of the mind dissipate through acting this way, Kriya Yoga. Exhale, letting go. And inhale, filling up with something new, new energy, new prana, gives us the strength to act appropriately, efficiently. Exhale, letting go. Once we've taken our path, go for the ride. When you're ready, staying at the bottom. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, forward bend. So for me, this balance creates a very soft experience of empowerment. So empowerment, sometimes it can be a bit aggressive sounding, but we want this empowerment to be grounded in this softness. Ultimately letting go of the results of our actions. Back to the physical body. Can you feel the effect of this on the lower back? As I bend my knees, as I exhale and forward bend, I can really feel a nice stretch in the lowest part of my lower back. I don't know if you can feel that. And when you're ready, coming up, hands up the legs, inhale halfway up, exhale, stay, inhale all the way up. Might feel a little lightheaded, just take a moment. Hopefully you feel very relaxed, yet strong. Okay, we're going to move into our warrior sequence and then side bends. Again, Parshva Kanasana. So coming to the back of your mat area or your practice area and stepping your left foot forward and your right foot turned out. And we're going to start with this version, which I've been told by some is the original warrior, and it's lovely for experiencing this third chakra power center, power pose. So you're going to bring your hands in fists. Some people don't use fists, but that's the way it was taught to me. You're going to bend your front knee and draw your elbows back. It's also wonderful for neck and shoulders. Some of you requested that today, so you're going to get that. You're going to draw those elbows back and Stick the chest out. And then as you exhale, you're going to press away. Now you can do this at the wall, which I actually quite like when I'm feeling a little less than empowered. This can be really helpful for a sense of pushing away and boundaries. If you have any of those issues, inhale, elbows back, lifting the heart. So this is the warrior, Virabhadrasana. He's looking straight forward. It's really hard to look up in this position. And exhale, hands at the wall or just in front of you and press away. I sometimes bring my heel up, or sorry, my toes up and press back. Inhale. This is also lovely for the neck and shoulders. So we're doing it more metaphorically, but you might use it for your upper back, neck, and shoulders, as well as your lower back. So Western research has found that doing these kind of open frame power poses like this increase our sense of empowerment. Physiologically, one study showed an increase of testosterone, but that was later debunked. But there's probably something going on hormonally as well. So if you're ever feeling like you can't handle a situation, you need a little lift, you're feeling a bit down, these back arches could be your medicine. After doing that around 6 times, let's switch sides. I'm going to stay at the wall. Starting with your inhale, elbows coming back, bending the front knee over the ankle towards the toes. And exhale, pressing into the wall, maybe lifting your front toes up. Get a bit more stretch into the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Now you can add a hold after inhale as you do this, and or exhale for a couple of seconds. Do this 6 to 8 times. I often think of the empowerment from a yoga perspective as just the courage to do that Kriya Yoga, to do what you think is right, which is the theme of the Bhagavad Gita. If you've read the Gita, and just finishing up is one of my favorite texts. Just listening to it this morning. I'm doing forward bend at the wall. You can do this holding the back of the chair as well. Your hands are just a quarter of the way down or half down. If it's half down, it's a full Ardha Uttanasana. This is wonderful for creating some traction in the spine. I think we did this last week, moving the hips side to side. We're going to do that again. Get into that QL area, the side of the hip and lower back. Maybe into the ribs. Depends where you're tight. You'll feel it where you're tight in your spine, your back. And just coming out of that, step into the wall. If you like bringing the hands up, you can rest here for a moment. Full Tadasana at the wall. Or just rest in Samastiti in the center of the room. Those rests are for integration. We're going to move into a different warrior, or we move into our side angle pose. We're getting there. We're almost there. So left foot forward, right foot back. We're going to take this a little deeper now. Okay, Virabhadrasana. So Virabhadra was a warrior for Lord Shiva, and he looked at him through his third eye and got empowerment through the third eye. So that's a pretty interesting way to do it. Inhale, you can think of that image. Now the female version is Durga, and she is my favorite, one of my favorite goddesses. She rides a tiger. I've been thinking about her a lot, the year of the tiger. And exhale, release. So for women, you might think of that. The tiger represents strength, courage. And this is definitely would be classified as a power pose. It's used in yoga therapy to create strength and courage, to decrease depression. It opens that third chakra, that belly button area. You can feel that, so stretching the whole front body. Purvatana. That back arch, stretching what's called the east of the body, the front body. Classically, you're facing east, which I am. I always do during my practice, if I can. Now, if you like, you can stay in the pose. I'm going to show a variation for neck and shoulders, since that was requested today. You're going to exhale, bend those elbows down. And inhale, arch the back. Now, if this is compressing your lower back, you might want to do this pose here. Okay, because one of the things that can happen in this pose is the lower back compresses, and that can be very uncomfortable. So if that's your case, do it with your back more elongated. This is also working your core in really interesting ways. You're having to work really hard. You can try both of those. And you could add a hold after inhale. We're going to finish off. Might do that on the other side. And right foot forward, left foot turned out. Inhale. So you might imagine yourself riding the tiger of success. Exhale, release. Do that 4 to 6 times, just in and out of it. Classically, the palms are together. Modification, just palms facing forward, or any height that feels good for your shoulders. Okay, your pose might be this, for example, for neck and shoulders, more the lower back. Arms coming straight out. This is using more of the lower back muscles. You can really feel that multifidus kicking in. You can make your practice more embodied by paying attention to every moment you're in. Maybe adding that hold after inhale, 2 to 3 seconds. About half the length of your inhale, or the same length. That increases the inhale effect, that strengthening stiram effect. The forward bend creates the softness, this creates the strength. You're doing that 6 to 8 times, maybe staying in the pose. You can maybe widen the distance of your feet. We just do whatever you can do in one step forward, that's your distance. Some teachers teach a bigger distance, you can play with that, makes it harder. Exhale, bend the elbows, drop the shoulders. You can have the thumbs facing back, so the shoulders are rolling back. Try to draw the ribs in at the same time so you're not crunching your kidneys. Inhale, arms up. Again, modification. You might do it like this with palms down or facing each other. And just see how that feels. You might try both if you like both. This really gets into those sticky shoulders. After doing this around 6 to 8 times, I think we've definitely done that. You're going to come out and exhale, release. If you can, bend that front knee and step back. It's going to be harder if your stance has gotten longer. You don't have to do that. It might be too hard on your knees. And just take a break and notice how you feel energetically now. So you might have a sense of a lift in the heart, the front body, the east side of the body, all opened up. We're going to go right into that, into Parshva Kanasana. If you need a forward bend, go for it. Do a forward bend before we move to the next pose. If you can, if it's comfortable, go right into the next pose. Otherwise, do a forward bend first. If your lower back's bothering you, you might need a forward bend first, feet parallel or apart like this. So turning the left foot out first, and you can just join when you're ready. Bending that knee. Now this one we start with what's usually called Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana. It's a bigger stance. Bending that knee over the ankle and just find that pose first. And look at your middle finger. Your weight's right in the center. The advantage of having a camera is you can actually see as a mirror. It's like, you know, are you here or here? Where are you in space? Just find right in the center. And then just for fun, we're going to inhale. I learned this in the West. They call it Dancing Warrior, and I quite like it. It gets into that side body so nicely. Inhale here, exhale, bend. Inhale. And exhale. It's just preparing for Parshva Kanasana. Another very empowering pose. Durga or Virabhadrasana, those warriors, or you might have another warrior you'd like to think about. When you're ready, you're going to bring your arms down as you exhale. Inhale, we're moving into Parshva Kanasana. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, bend that front knee and come down to your side. Start with your hand up to the skies. Later, Krishnamacharya added this piece on as the first step, and then added the lengthening of the arm. In this earlier work, it's all in one breath. It's kind of nice to split it up. Just feel that nice stretch through the whole side body into the lower back and hip. Exhale, hand to the sky. Open that front hip. Your hand can be on top of the thigh or inside or even outside the hip. Inhale through the Warrior 2 and straighten the legs, and exhale, release. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, bend that knee through your Warrior 2, slide along an imaginary wall behind you, get into your side angle pose. Place your hand on top of the thigh. Inside, you could have a block. Outside, also block possible. Inhale, arm along the ear, lengthen. Stretch really long. Exhale, hand to the sky. Inhale through your Warrior 2. You can look front or at that little finger. Exhale, release. So I'm adding the warrior two to this. Inhale, arms coming up. Do this 4 times. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hand to the sky. Inhale through warrior two and to standing, straighten the leg. Exhale, arms down. The 4th one, we're going to stay. Inhale. If it's too much to stay, keep it moving. Exhale. Inhale. Now, as you stay here for neck and shoulders, bend that elbow and turn the head, look down. Inhale, lengthen, look to the screen or up to the sky if your neck does that. That's classical. Exhale, looking down. I don't do that because my neck doesn't like it. Most of my students, when they do it, they are not actually turning their head properly. Probably more harm than good for most people. Try to keep that knee tracking over the ankle. It will tend to roll in. And when you're ready, just want you to come into a forward bend. Bring your feet parallel. Prasarita Pada Uttanasana. Take a little break here, bend the knees. Exhale, inhale, straighten. You can have your arms in front to create a bit more traction of the spine. For upper back, neck, and shoulders, you can inhale, look up, and exhale, look down. You can easily do this with blocks under your hands. Some of you might prefer to bring your hands back between your legs. And classically, the head is touching the floor. I can do that with my hair, but depends on the length of your legs versus your torso. And you'll feel that groin stretch. We worked on one side at a time now. When you're ready, coming up the front, inhale halfway, exhale, stay. Inhale, pressing up, hands on thighs. Exhale, let's just bring our feet together for a moment. Give our legs a break. That's a lot of intense work on those hips. You're probably feeling your left hip, the side this way, a lot right now. Let's even it out. We're going to go to the other side when you're ready. Turning out your right foot, I'm nearing you. The other foot can be square, heel to heel alignment, heel to arch, or bring that foot, angle it in if that feels better on that knee. So that left leg, just angle it according to your hip and knee, the comfort. Find your warrior two position to start with, bending that front knee over the ankle, pointing towards the second toe. That back foot, that little toe side, you might roll in, try to keep that going down. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bring our arms up to the warrior two. Exhale, stay here. Inhale. Exhale, and then let's add a dancing warrior. Inhale, arm coming up, stretching. Exhale, bending. Inhale, you could justify this move as an inhale or an exhale. I'm going to do it as an inhale. Just because it works with this being the exhale grounding. I'm doing that 4 to 6 times. Just preparing the leg. That might be your pose. When you're ready, inhale, straighten, exhale, arms down. We're going to go into Parshva Kanasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend that front knee and go into the first part of the side angle, hand to the sky, shoulders aligned. If it's not comfortable, you can get rid of this top arm, okay, if it's hard on your shoulder. Inhale, arm along the ear. Again, if this is too much, skip this part, leave the hand to the sky, or have the hand on the hip. Exhale, hand to the sky. Inhale through your warrior two, maybe looking at those middle finger that is. Exhale, release down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend. Go to your side angle. Inhale, lengthen. Feel that stretch in your left lower back and hip, and your front hip opening. That's the Konasana. Exhale, hand to the sky. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, release, starting position. So hopefully we've warmed up the legs for this. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend the front knee, sliding along that imaginary wall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hand to the sky. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, release. Next one, we're going to stay. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Inhale. Now, if it's comfortable, exhale, bend and turn the head. Again, if that shoulder's not comfortable, you just leave it on the lower back. Inhale. Exhale. It's going to be pretty intense. I'm feeling it more in my front hip. Some of you might be feeling it more in your lower back on this side. If it's too much, go into your forward bend right away. And after doing that 4 to 6 times, I'm going to come forward. Prasarita Pada Uttanasana, spread foot at forward bend. Pick your variation. You can inhale, look up, exhale, forward bend with your hands in front or between your legs. You can bend your knees. You can have your hands on blocks or on a chair. You might hold your big toes with your peace fingers. You might have the hands behind you on your lower back or interlocked fingers. That's more upper back. And we're going to swivel to one foot. I'm going to swivel to my left, and we're going to take it down to the ground. Inhale. Exhale, taking it back. Child's pose. Now, classically, you're from Vajrasana, diamond pose, and forward bend. Modification is knees apart, and that might feel better for you. So knees apart, looks like this, and you might put a big blanket or a block under your belly. This is hurting your knees, lie on your back and hug your knees to your chest, or just put your feet on the wall. So I'm going to show that variation. I haven't shown this in a while. My Iyengar teacher used to call it Supta frog position, and I'm forgetting the Sanskrit for frog because my teachers don't teach that pose, but there's a word for it that starts with a B. So that's lying down on your back, child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work for your knees, you place your feet in a place where there's no strain and you can let go. This rest, we worked very hard. All right, when you're ready, those of you who are in child's pose, just stretch out onto your belly. We've been working on the hips the last couple of weeks and didn't get to this part, which I wanted to, but we're going to do it during lower back part. I'm going to angle my camera down. You might want to put a layer on because you will cool down a bit. This spring is that time of year where we have sweaters on and off. It's good. Yeah, and I'm going to put my sweater back on. So lying on your belly, you might want to take a blanket or a pillow and put it under your belly just for a bit of comfort. Also, it will help your lower back, your belly move towards your lower back. If you've ever done Superman poses with a physiotherapist, you'll often see this variation. Okay, lie down and the blanket or pillow is below the chest. And just lying down. And if it's comfortable, folding your arms and putting your one hand on top of the other. And you're going to inhale, you're just going to start by tucking your toes under. And you're going to inhale, lift your knees off the ground. So this is also very strengthening for the knees. And it starts to work the lower back. It's also really working the glutes. Exhale, release. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, you can put a block between your thighs as you do this. You can also put the wall behind you and press your heels into that wall. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to do this. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, release. This really strengthening the legs, the glutes, and starting into the lower back. We're going to keep it going into Shalabhasana, locust poses. I don't know if you can feel your lower back working. You could put a hand in that groove. There's a groove on either side of the lower back. You can find it. Just see if you can feel those muscles. Deep spinal muscles working. All right, so that was your warm up. Now, we're going to try lifting one leg at a time. Inhale, left leg coming up. And you could tuck the other toes under and stretch that leg to make it harder. So I'm going to show two versions. One is feet just down, relaxed. Inhale, one leg up, exhale down. Just that, Ardha Shalabhasana. Or you want to make it harder, tuck the toes under. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend the knees, release, both toes are tucked under, and then the other side. This is strengthening the leg, the hip, and one side of the back at a time. Contraindicated for pregnancy, of course.
Okay, bring the feet apart. This is more for the SI area. It's going to be very helpful for people who have pain in the SI joint area. It's quite a long joint, actually. Think of it, those little knobs on the back as the SI joints, but it's actually going all the way down. Look it up online. The back through the hips. Inhale. I have my palms in front of me and I'm lifting up my chest so I can go like this, or I can put my palms under my shoulders, keep my chin in, and lift the chest. Feel that on the lower back. We're going to add the legs in a minute. This is hurting your lower back. Try the legs slightly closer together or parallel. Just see the difference in your lower back, how that feels. See the difference where you have your hands. Hands more forward. That targets, for me, a bit more the mid-back. Hands further back goes more in the lower back. So just see how that is for your body. And those back arches of empowerment. This is definitely a power pose. It's definitely used to lift the spirits if you're feeling down, downtrodden, as we say, disempowered. Finding the strength to do Kriya Yoga, right action, with a life of virtue. And you can try those legs in different positions. It will affect the SI area differently. You might be feeling one side more than the other. It's really the case with me. I feel one side of my back much more than the other as I do this. Okay, when you feel like you've had enough, we're going to take a break, come back to child's pose. If you can't do child's pose, you can line your back as I showed earlier. I'm doing this as a counter pose, so whatever's a counter for you, just take a moment and rest. Okay, we're now, your back feels ready to do a bit more. We're now going to put those two together, the upper and lower back movement. I'm not going to add the arms today, which definitely strengthens the shoulders more and the upper back. We're going to leave the hands down so that we keep our attention more on the lower back. So we're going to start with our feet parallel. Inhale, lift one leg and lift the chest. You could tuck the opposite toes under as we did earlier. Exhale down. I'm just going to leave my feet on the ground without tucking the toes under for this one. Inhale up, exhale down. I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling my lower back muscles working. And lift the chest just to comfort. Keep the chin in. If you look up, that can compress the neck and cut off blood flow, which can cause headaches. So just be really careful, especially those of you prone to headaches. Just keep the chin really tucked in. Classically, you are looking forward, but I don't usually teach it that way for yoga therapy. You can try with your feet in a wider position. And sorry, for this one, you're lifting both feet off there, remember. And this is moving more into Vimanasana. You can also do that with the feet parallel. Lift both legs. Or try with the feet apart. One last step if you want, feet apart. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, bring the legs together and the head slightly down, but not to the floor. Inhale, feet apart, arch the back up. Get that chin in. And exhale down. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the legs. Sometimes helpful to lift the legs first because they'll come up a bit too far. Exhale, feet together. Chest will come slightly down, but not to the floor. Inhale, open up, lift the chest. Exhale down. Vimanasana, airplane pose. You can do it with the arms. We're doing it without the arms today. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, feet together. Lengthen the torso. Inhale, arch, feet apart. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale. Lifting everything up, legs first, then chest. Exhale, feet together. Chest will come down slightly. Inhale, feet apart, arching the chest up. Exhale, down. And either lie on your back or go into child's pose. Shavasana, usually translated as when you're ready on your back. You can see me okay. There's a lot of sun today in the room. And just notice how you feel. You might have your knees bent. That feels better. I'm just going to do a Padasana. Exhale, knees to the chest. Inhale, legs to the sky. Exhale, knees to the chest. Inhale, legs to the sky. Adding on, if you want to get into the core, exhale, touch those toes down to the floor, hands by your hips. At the end of the exhale, draw your knees to the chest. Inhale, legs up, arms up. If it's comfortable to the floor behind you, you can skip the arms. Exhale, touch those toes down. Floor in front of you, further away from the buttocks, harder. End of exhale, draw everything in. Knees to chest. One more time. Stretch your legs long. Just going to do a side stretch, walking the feet to the right, stretching the left body, little steps. You can just stay here, arms at the sides, or if it's comfortable, you're going to bring your shoulders also to the right, fold your arms, hold the opposite elbows, and stay here if it's comfortable. Bring your right foot over your left. Feel that deep stretch in your left hip, your left lower back, and just stay here and breathe. Again, adjust the arms if your shoulders are not comfortable, arms at side. You could also have your torso just straight up and down. And just breathe here. And when you're ready, switching sides. That's your target side. You might want to stay on that side a little longer. I'll invite you to do that, otherwise coming out. Just resting in the center. Classically, that's done on an inhale and exhale, other side. At this point in my practice, I usually just come in and out any old way. And when it's a stay pose, and then just find the stay on the other side. So I'm now doing a half moon, which is interesting, beautiful half moon in the sky. We've been doing lots of half moons today. So bright last night here in the forest. And then crossing, if you like, that left foot over the right to keep that right hip down. We're targeting stretching the right hip now and lower back and into the IT band area of the leg. Holding opposite elbows maybe. You could hold the top wrist if you prefer, or just arms at the side, torso center. Just adjust your arms to comfort for your upper back, neck, and shoulders, and then feel that right lower back hip getting a deep, deep stretch. When you're ready, coming out and cross the feet. Just stay in your Uttanasana in the center. I'm putting my feet at the wall. If you prefer to rest the lower back, bend the knees. You can have the feet wide, angle the knees in. You could put a bolster under your legs. You're going to move from this into Shavasana Relaxation when you're ready. Shavasana translates as corpse pose, which doesn't sound terribly relaxing in a conscious way, but the idea is that you're letting go of your attachment to the body, mind, senses. And even the breath. It's our final attachment that we let go of is the breath. And in that deep letting go, that deep Īśvara praṇidhān we talked about earlier, that letting go, we allow ourselves to be centered in our power. Some people call that soul or spirit. For others, it just might be a sense of spaciousness when the mind settles. The image you can bring to mind is lying on a still lake, not a ripple. Maybe the sun shining overhead, 12 noon. That glass-like lake of the mind is holding you in stillness. holding your essence, your power that shines like the sun. You can keep lying there if you like. Enjoying that bhavana of the lake, the sun. You can join me in seated meditation, your choice. Tapaḥ, Svādhyāya, Īśvara praṇidhānāni, kriya-yogaḥ, Tapaḥ, Svādhyāya, Īśvara praṇidhānāni, kriya-yogaḥ, Tapaḥ, Svādhyāya, Īśvara praṇidhānāni, kriya-yogaḥ. Chapter 2, Yoga Sutra 1. Tapas. There is a challenge. Svādhyāya. How are you going to face that challenge? Thinking about that, contemplating that. Īśvara praṇidhān. Letting go of the results of your action, whatever direction you've taken. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste, Namaskaram.